Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to welcome you to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We're at 2653 South Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. That beautiful music that you heard was from Gilbert Zachary. Now, if you're ready, I'm going to do the invocation. If you turn within to that center where you meet God, just know that there is an infinite presence, all power, all presence, all activity. Ever with us. That presence is with each and every person that's on their way to this session, on their way through computers, through the Zoom, through all of the modern necessities of media and so forth. Each and every person that's here, each and every person that's on their way, each and every person that wants to be associated with Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. And I just bless and bless and bless that each and everything that goes with this service and this day is blessed. We are ready to welcome the day. We are ready to welcome God into this service, and just know that God is here. Each and every person that's working in this service is blessed. And I know that this extends to Reverend June Clark. And if you are in agreement with any or all that I've said, you could say with me, and so it is. Amen. Good morning again. Our awakening our perspective this morning from a science and mind point of view. As we continue our journey of change, each moment is an opportunity to make a new choice and create a better life. Humans unfold from a limitless potential and can bring into experience anything that can be conceived. As the mind aligns to the unlimited possibilities of the law, the possibilities of attainment increase. The past is not a precedent. In this way, we can break out of past patterns and behaviors and consciously write the unwritten narrative of our lives. Boy, thank you. Let's just marinate on that for a second while Gilbert gets ready to give us another selection. And now we'll hear from Gilbert Zachary on the piano. Thank you, Gilbert. And now we're going to hear from Reverend June.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's beautiful this morning. It's been summer, spring, winter, fall, all within 4 days this week, half of last week. So good morning, everyone, and bless us all. And here we are again every single week. We are moving forward with this wonderful phenomena called Zoom. And we're getting used to doing this. We're enhancing our every move every week. And we bless you and welcome you to this service via invisibility. Isn't that wonderful? We can be here, we're solid and all that, and then we're transformed into these little projectiles or whatever it is. It kind of reminds me of my goodness, where is this coming from? It reminds me of Star Trek. And you'd go, and the guys and the lady would stand on a circle, and all of a sudden they would be made into particles, and then they would sail out into the universe, and then they'd show up in people's living rooms. So here we are. We're the particles this morning, showing up in your kitchen, your living room, wherever you are. So God bless us and welcome to this wonderful, wonderful day. So today we're looking at the point of view of, as the month is, bright beginnings. And it fits for this month. And I often remind us how long ago that these themes were chosen by the writers that are doing the particular themes for the year for Centers for Spiritual Living ministers. And Bright Beginnings was actually created last year for this year. So it's another example of knowing that God knows exactly what it's doing all the time. And we are in the phase of bright beginnings. And today's focus is on the unwritten. And the unwritten topic got me to, as all of them seem to do, got me to thinking about my life, got me to thinking about the unfoldment of my life as it is today, and then the unwritten, looking back, and then looking at the now, and then looking at the future. And perhaps the unwritten is, for some of us, best left unwritten. I decided that as I went into this topic. And so from what Jerry read to us this morning, the past is not precedent. I have heard that so many times spoken throughout my learning and understanding of science of mind. Really never stopped to think about it, except to always realize that I was not sure what precedent referred to. So the past is not set. The past is not precedent. And what I've heard, the rest of it was that the past is not setting the precedent. So contemplating that, thinking about that, in this research for this week, I have realized that going back doesn't have to set the precedent for what is today. In fact, does it really do any good? I mean, really. No and yes, yes and no. It's no, because whatever is today is the now, and therefore it stands alone as the now. But the past is what is reflected as us into the now. Now, if that's a little confusing to you, it is confusing to me also. But that's what I know. I know that the past influenced who I am at this very moment, with this very breath. Yet I know that, like I said, some of the past can remain unwritten. When I look at what I have perhaps done, perhaps what I have witnessed, perhaps what I have been on the periphery of, I can say that it does not express as me right now. So the past is many, many, many things. What it does not do for me right now is recreate a past that I don't particularly want to have. So I'm not allowing any of the, some people call it the shadow of our lives, that we have a shadow. Sure, we have a shadow. That's just what would you say, a physics event. If the sun shines on you, if a light shines on you, it's going to cast something. My hands, even as they move on this paper, there is a shadow of my hand. And it's okay. It's okay that the past is within me. Obviously, it's not going to go anywhere. But what I do with it, what the present or the precedent that I allow to affect me, is what's important. So the past is not precedent. In this way, we can break out of past patterns and behaviors and consciously write the unwritten narrative of our lives. So if we want to shift into the now, if we want to just glow and honor and be all we can be, with the past included and visions of the future, then we're wonderful. So in looking at today, lot of inferences, information, realities 101 that are going on today, that with every breath that we take, it's a past. This particular situation that the world is in today has, what did we just say back here? It has shadows. It has set a precedent, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be with us forever. It is going to be a part of the unwritten, and yet a predominant part of the written of our lives at this moment. But what we can do with it, just move through it. And the way we move through it is through prayer. The way we move through it is recognizing this too shall pass. The way we move through it is to write our story. Some of us are great writers. Some of you may be journalers. Something that never clicked with me. I obviously took classes to become a minister, to become a practitioner, took science of mind classes prior to all my desires of becoming a practitioner or a minister. And several of them were on journaling. And it was so wonderful because the people that were teaching it were so enthusiastic about it. Not I. Not I, said the little redhead. I just was not a journaler. But I was, and it's like the precedent thing. I can say yes over here and no over here because I have books with wonderful, beautiful covers on them, and they're journals. And I can open those journals, and they're usually, a journal about so thick, and a couple of them have maybe 3 pages written on them. One of them has a lot of pages, almost the entire book is a journal. And so being a person who is judgmental about myself especially, I look at that and I say, I wonder what was happening at that unwritten phase of my life. And then I read what I wrote, and I come to the conclusion that the precedent that was being set at that time, I didn't want to deal with. So I didn't write very much about it. So then I look at the journal that has many, many writings, and there's stories within there. There's stories of my life. That's my written testimony. And obviously, when I look at it in judgment, that part wasn't so good, but this part was wonderful because I did a whole lot of writing about it. And when I read back on it, I enjoy it. But does that mean that I can do either of those again? No. But they are both within me. So today we're looking at stories. We're looking at the unwritten word of who we are, the unwritten word of Cleveland. We're looking at the unwritten word of the state of Ohio, of the United States of America, of all the countries of the world. And the story that we write, the story that is accurate, the story that is true, the story that is not bound by precedent, is going to be the story of each and every single one of us. And the precedent that we are going to leave behind is the times when we were fearful, the times when we were angry, the times when we were very bored being at home, the times when we were wondering, what in the world is this? And the joy that we will get from this as we write our stories is back to the beginning. Like I said, I've taken many, many classes. The one thing to always remember, God is all there is. God is in the midst of everything, everyone, regardless of my judgment, your perception of what is going on in this world. Your perception of what is going on in this world affects the perception of who you are and how you are functioning within this time, at this time, every single moment of this time. So I'm hoping today, and knowing that today, the message that is being created through me, coming through my voice, and today there'll be other voices that are coming to you. Jerry has already brought his voice, and there's going to be three other voices that are going to be spoken to you. I want you to focus on, if you're not a journaler, by literally writing things down, I want you to focus on a commitment to know your story. Know your story from April 19, 2020, and the time is about 8 minutes to 11. From this moment on, consider what's going to be your story. What is going to be your story, written or unwritten? Doesn't matter, because it still is your story. How are you going to proceed from this moment on to accept and to know that the presence of God is all there is? Doesn't matter about the politicians. It doesn't matter about what religion one is. It doesn't matter about whatever happened when you were 5 years old that you don't want to remember, or you were 35 or 45 or whatever five you want to have a number in front of. None of that matters. But this moment, this breath, to remember that we are, in essence, writing our story. Our lives are still going on. We're still experiencing 4 seasons within 6 or 7 days, at least here in Cleveland. Actually, my nephew is in Chicago, and a couple days ago, Aunt June woke up to 2 inches of snow. I hope it's not heading your way. It came this way, Mark. My sister in California, Southern California, it's really raining. We've had rain for 5 or 6 days, which is unusual for them. I hope it doesn't come this way, June, to your way. We had some rain. But, nobody said, it's sunny today. It's sunny in Ohio today. It's sunny in California today. It's sunny in Chicago today. So how come we look at the downside? That might be one of the things. We don't have to take the precedent with us. We can look at the joy and claim it when it's here. And put that in your story. Put good stuff in your story. Put funny stuff in your story. And I've heard so many uplifting stories, just people calling and saying hello. And one of these days, I'm going to get Marcia Woody to tell you the story of a brown paper bag. She happens to be here this morning. I mean, it's hilarious. And so one Sunday, we'll focus on having a couple bring us some laughter and some funny stories. So on with today. On your notes, in your program that was sent to you, let's look at creative, infinite possibilities. And if you could see the back of our sanctuary, it says, using our unlimited potential with 2020 vision. We have had the goal and the, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's been our statement of who we are and what we ought to be for several years now, and that is use your unlimited potential. So this year, using our unlimited potential with 2020 vision. And that's what we have to have. 2020 vision in order to conquer and to be on the upside of what is going on today. So in your notes, it says, we are the co-creators of our life. Not the creators, the co-creators. And who doesn't want to be co-creating with somebody that spells their name G-O-D? I mean, God. Oh, okay. Co-creators of our lives. We die daily to our old ways and have a new day. We die daily to our old ways. The thing about precedent. The past does not set the precedent for who you ought to want to be in the future and right now. Oh my goodness. The old ways. The old ways. I'm not going to take you back to my old ways. My mother and father did not look very kindly on several of them. So I think they were great. but they actually disagreed with me in many ways. And I think you all are the same way. We are always at choice, from the song Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. If you go online and find this song, it's a very interesting song, and it's a very common song. And when you listen to it, you'll find I've heard that song over the years. It's really very catchy, very pretty. So she has a way with this song. If you have YouTube, you can find it on YouTube. It's called Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Very interesting if you wanted to listen to that. So moving on, we write the unwritten story of our life. The past is not precedent. So on page 275, Jerry or Fran, do you have your textbook with you? Okay. Aha, Arnie is here. He always has his, and I left mine in the office. So on page 275, the second paragraph, I'm going to read the opinion of Ernest Holmes. So if somebody would bring me that quickly, please. And as you're finding your book and turning to the correct page, I do appreciate your giving me a second here. Thank you very much. Okay, on 275, the second paragraph, mind as a complete acceptance, not of the old fact, but of the new one. In such degree as this treatment partakes of the nature of reality, reality is a capital R, the nature of God, it is going to have power. The reference to treatment is in the section of the book, The Principles of Successful Living. Talking about treatment here, we're talking about prayer here. It can have only as much power as I embody. This is the limitation of treatment, not limitation in principle. What we do is the human treatment. The treatment is speaking our word to principle. Principle is a capital P. We're speaking our way to God. This is the limitation of treatment, not limitation in principle, not in God, but in performance. In performance. There's a saying, be careful of what you ask for because you might get it. You ask in the correct, excuse that word, but it fits here, correct way. Correct being, you know with certainty, when you speak your word with your heart, with your knowing that you are speaking to God, you're going to get an answer. Now, a verbatim answer, see, that's where it comes, that's where the rub comes in. Your question, your answer may be a bit different than God's all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipresent, omniscient knowing. And the answer might not look exactly like your outline decided it ought to be. Ever been there?
Yes.
Again, be careful what you ask for, because God never says no, it always says yes. Got to be open to the yes, because it may not look exactly like the picture that you paint, but you're always going to get an answer. The thing itself, of course, is not limited. The thing itself is capital T, capital I. In this text, it means God. The thing itself, of course, is not limited, as we have proven that principle, God, is not bound by precedent. We got that down pat now. We go into that realm which says, behold, I make all things new. Not carrying with us the limited belief of the reason why it cannot be. Why are we going to argue with the Word of God, with the actions of God? Any denial we make in treatment is simply to conduct us to a place of greater affirmation. So as we continually express ourselves to God, we say treatment, I say treatment, and your reaction might be, oh, I don't know how to treat, I've never taken a class. Please don't keep reaffirming that. My knowing is, and I'm not wrong about this, if something happens in your life that you feel, you, not anybody else, that you feel is extreme, is not beneficial in your life, what do? You say some words. 99.9.9.99999%, the words are, help me, God. Help me to understand. God, clear this from my beingness. Clear this from my path. God, allow my loved one to. I guarantee you know how to do a treatment. Because as soon as you speak your presence, your word, your heart to the godness that we all recognize, especially in times of trials and tribulations. I mean, come on. For us to say there are never any trials or tribulations, I say it's a little foolish. So I know you have done a treatment. I know you have spoken to God. So however you choose to speak to God, or whenever you choose to speak to God, do it with heart. Do it with love, do it with commitment, do it with understanding of what you are asking for, and get out of the way and open your mind, open your heart, open your ears, open whatever you need to open to accept the truth that's going to be given to you. So moving on our notes. Our individual stories make up the collective stories of our families and communities. What else do we know? Realistically, who else can we talk about? How can we justify telling something about somebody else when the story that we know is our story? So whatever we're saying about somebody else is based on our story. Sometimes we know a few facts, and an awful lot of the times we're all doing and saying and going through the exact same thing. Different words, different house, different dress, different pants, different person, different people, different dog, different cat, whatever in the story. Same story. God is expressing in, as, through us as a universal allness. The choices we make and the stories we write have the power to bring forth healing and good in a world that is seemingly divisive. So as you look at the television, as you look at the newspaper, as you talk as you listen to people who are talking amongst themselves, if there is a theme of divisiveness, use your love, use your compassion, use your knowledge of God, and hear what you need to hear that shows that there's love, that shows that there's compassion, that shows that we are healed, that we are whole, perfect, and complete. So continue to know that. Continue to know that. Let's write a story individually and collectively. We must do it all together. That brings forth more peace, more kindness, more love, more unity. Again, more peace, more kindness, more love, more unity. And we individually will shift this planet where wholeness, where truth, where peace and harmony and joy and love and prosperity are recognized and written into our stories that will last forever. So I want to read from these notes that I have here. And our stories have shaped us. We are born from infinite potential. We live in a field of limitless possibilities, and yet we are the product of the story of our lives. Our stories have shaped our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. Our perspectives can either limit or expand our experience of life. Life with a capital L, meaning God. And we are more than our stories. We've said that already. We are more than our stories. We are co-creators of life. Said that before. Co-creators of life. We direct infinite potential by unconscious and conscious use of the law of life. Law capital, life capital, God. Through the use of the law, we have the ability to rewrite past chapters and author new chapters that bring us more joy and contentment in life. And what I found in bringing myself to the awareness of speaking today, and I did look back, as I said, on some things that my parents, maybe my teachers too, and maybe some other folks that I was connected with throughout my life, where they did not appreciate what my story was at that time. And in the notes here, it says, we have the ability to rewrite past chapters. And I decided, I don't want to. I don't want to rewrite anything. Because here I am, June Marie Stanford Clark. Oops, forgot the luster. That was the most interesting part. June Marie Luster, that was the age of, that was the age. Okay, June Marie Luster Stanford Clark. I'm not going to rewrite anything, because that's who this wonderful person is. And I do accept myself as wonderful. So I don't want to rewrite anything. So moving on back to the notes. It has brought you to this point in time. It has brought me back to this point in time. Not everyone has a happy story. And I kid a little bit about those who may not have agreed with my story or what I did at a particular time. Maybe it was happy then, but being a complete human, God-given person of integrity and the ability to think and evaluate. If I thought it was happy then I was happy. So how can you rewrite? If I was upset and sad then, that's what it was. How can you rewrite? So the story, the point that I'm trying to make is, since all of that package is who I am now, I don't have to be happy, happy, happy all the time, but I'm happy. I'm safe. I'm well. I'm prosperous. I'm on a spiritual path that continues to assist me in writing. If I were to journal, or if I were to write a story, it would be a culmination of all these things, all these attributes of God, and all the care and the wonderment of taking care of this one individual in time and space, that I live to the fullest and to the highest of my being. And that's what I want for you to get from these words today. Know that your story right now is so precious. First, because it's yours. And second, because your infinite potential, unlimited potential with your 2020 vision is going to be perfect for you, as mine is for me. We have the choice to change our perspective to see our story in a new light. Recognize the power of perspective. Is the glass half full or half empty? It's both. If it's a glass and it's got half of something in it, it's got half of something in it, and it's got half of nothing in it. That's an interesting observation. I just realized that. It's a good question, and it's asked a lot, but decide what it means for you. Half full or half empty. It depends on the perspective in which you come from. And that may vary 5 minutes from now. It may vary 10 years from now. It may vary at any particular time in life. There is always a different perspective. Why not choose a perspective that is honoring, uplifting, and conducive to creating a life free from past patterns to offer your life? To author your life. Author your life. And page 271 in the textbook, 4th paragraph. There is a law of unfoldment in man which says he can advance only by going from where he is to the place where he would like to be. Wow. Where would you like to be? Where are you? Where were you? Not in the sense of judgment. Oh, I used to be like that. Now I'm like this. No, it took that in order for you to get like this. Don't put yourself down. What is beautiful to one is horribly ugly to somebody else. So why not make it your own judgment, your own decision about what it is, who you are, and how you want to be? This is not because the law is limited, but because it is the law. God is law. As man unfolds in his mentality, the law automatically reacts to him. People, we have to include people, that's who we live with, that's who we exist with. People are always going to react. The sentence says, as man unfolds his mentality, the law automatically reacts to him. Law is capital. God. Whatever you do, it is God expressing. God is going to react to you. Depression, oh, that felt good. I was depressed all day. I couldn't go out. I was depressed all day. I'm going to try that again tomorrow. Oh, that's 2 days of depression. I've been in all day. Okay, that's the limit for me. If you want to be depressed, God says, they want to be depressed. You know what? God's going to give you exactly what you enjoy, what you like, what you want. If you don't want to be depressed, then don't be. Easy for me to say, yes, yes, it is. Don't be depressed. Go to the store like I do. Buy ice cream. Buy peanuts. Buy a key lime pie. Only 6-inch one. But get something that's going to bring joy to your life. Do something that's going to bring joy to your life. Clip your nails, wash your hair, wash your dog. Go out and get some cold, fresh air. At least one day this week, it was very cold. This afternoon, you could go out and you might get a little warm. Do something and God will give it to you. Decide what you want. The way to work is to begin right where we are and through constantly applying ourselves to the truth, constantly applying ourselves to God, we gradually increase in wisdom and understanding, for in this way alone will good results be obtained. If you have the textbook, 271, fourth paragraph. If day by day we have a greater understanding and a clearer concept, if daily we are realizing more truth, again, a capital T, more God, and applying it, God, in our actions, then we are on the right path, and eventually we shall be made free. Always free. The concept here is you're going to realize who you truly are. It is a wonderful experiment and a great adventure to make conscious use of the law of God, to feel that we can plant an idea in mind and see it gradually take form. It says gradually, but I know in my story, in my current story, in my past story, there have been times when God hit me upside the head. It was not gradual. It was boom. And I got it. And it never left. I got it. There have been times, like I said, there was a time in my life, and maybe God said it over and over and over again, and I didn't get it. I learned the lesson over and over again until I got it. So it doesn't matter if you get boomed or if you take your time, you continue to do your studying, you continue to do your prayer work. God hasn't gone anywhere, but your consciousness will grow and it will bloom, and you will know what you know that you didn't know before. So moving on, your story is yet to be written. Your story is waiting to be written. What is the story you are creating in your life? You don't have to call me and read me volumes of what you've decided your life's going to be. You can call and we can chat, and you can say, I'm on a new page, and that will be wonderful. I read the old pages. I understand them now. Writing a new page. Wonderful. So this little paragraph is going to lead into what we are going to do next. Today, let's have new decisions and choices. Write a story of your life that creates a better life for ourselves and those around us. Let's write a story where we participate in making the world a better place. So at this time, I'm going to ask Marcia Whitty and Laverne Terry that are going to come up, that are going to assist us. And this is, like I said, every week we're going to be doing something different. So this week we are having something done that we haven't done before, and that is sharing from someone at home and having two of our blessed angels that are going to assist us in reading here from the pulpit. And this has happened because, like I say, you can call me, and people call me and we chat. And I had a chat last week with Linda Jones. And Linda Jones shared with me an experience in her life, her story about something. And it touched me so deeply that I began to share what she had brought into my life with other people. And what happened was other people said, "Oh yeah, I've been doing that every morning. Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I used to have to memorize that. Oh yeah." We're always expanding our consciousness. We're always learning something from each other and giving through communication and love to each other. And this is very important. So I'm going to ask Linda if you are there.
Yes, can you hear me?
She's here, and you need to speak up quite loudly.
Okay.
Asked you, and would you say hello?
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, a little bit louder than that.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, that's good. That's good, Linda. So
Okay.
Linda Jones is going to start this morning, and I will let her explain what she is reading. And the three readers are Linda Jones, verse 1 through 5, Marcia Woody, verse 7 through 11, and Laverne Terry, verse 12 through 16. So Linda, you begin, and we'll listen.
Okay. Again, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is my story. Reverend June asked me to share with you all something that I had shared with her earlier last week. I was looking at the term that they were using all through the news and newspapers and so forth, the term COVID-19. I was curious as to why they was calling it that, especially the 19. So I Googled it and found out that the 19 meant that was the latter part of 2019, around, I guess, November, December of 2019, that the virus first emerged in China. So I was looking at the number 19 and thinking about it and, curious about it. And the thought said to me, to turn around that 19, look at what 19, the number's 19. And the 91st Psalm came to me. So years ago, before I retired from the phone company, I was having a challenge with a situation on my job. So I read the 91st Psalm, diligently, every night. I know I would read it at least 50 times or more a night and meditated on it about the situation that was going on at my job. And within a short span of time, concerning this situation, my prayers were answered. And that challenge was removed from my life. So the thought came to me that the 91st Psalm would be very appropriate, especially with what's going on today in our world with this virus. If we would just read it and meditate on it, then things will hopefully be okay for us. So I'm going to read from the 91st Psalm, verses 1 through 5. And I'm not going to say hopefully, but I know this should bring us some peace and some comfort. So I begin. Verses 1 through 5. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Let me say that again. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Thank you.
1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even in the Most High, thy habitation. There shall be no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways.
Verse 12 through 16. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest they dash their foot against a stone. They shall tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. May God have a blessing on the words from Psalm 91, verses 1 through 16. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, ladies. You see, life brings us roses, rose to rose. And the gift that Linda brought to me was the 91st Psalm. Excuse me. Sharing it with all of you And I'll continue to mention it to people. I have mentioned it to a few that didn't recognize it, just as I didn't. But now it's in your prayer chest. So we bless it. And thank you again, Linda.
You're welcome.
So in closing, I have a quote here from Oprah Winfrey. You are the author of your own life. Don't let others define it for you. Real power comes to you by doing what you are meant to be doing and doing it well. Our affirmation for today is, those of you who are here in the sanctuary, let's read this together. Today, I write the unwritten chapter of my life, free from the past, and author the life I deserve to live. So if the practitioners would come up, then I'll move into a spiritual mind treatment, our form of prayer, knowing that the practitioners who are not with us here are holding you in prayer. If you desire to send a prayer request, please send it to our website, to our email, and it will be held in confidentiality. You can call me, you can call a practitioner, and our prayer work continues for all of us. So moving into the awareness that we are speaking directly into the heart of God. We can do this by being vocal. We can do it by writing. We can do it by thinking and knowing. Just knowing and recognizing that God is all there is. We don't have to go through a litany of words. We don't have to go through a mental exercise to figure out what God is, because God is all there is. It expresses as itself in beauty, in harmony, in joy, in health, in knowledge, in divine awareness of truth. However God shows up in your experience, as your experience, recognize it, embrace it, and know that as I am one with God, the truth is that everyone within the sound of my voice, everyone in this universal allness, everything that expresses itself is an expression of God. And the wonderment and the joy of God is speaking your word. There is no up, no down. There is no greater than or lesser than in the heart and the mind of God. Speak your word. Know what it is that is in your consciousness at this moment. If it shifts, if it changes, speak to God again. Continue to have an open channel of what life is at the moment for you and as you. Know that your presence with every breath is a prayer. Know that every thought that you have is a prayer. Know that every heart's desire is a prayer. And the answer to the prayer must be seen, must be welcomed. Perhaps not in the form exactly as you stated it, but in God's language, in God's awareness, in God's givingness. The truth is the truth is the truth. God hears. God knows. Our humanness thinks. Our humanness thinks it knows. The spiritual truth is God knows and God shows. Be open. Be open. Be accepting. Be patient. And be ever surprised at the moment that it comes immediately after the breath that you have said the prayer. There is only yes in God, only yes in knowing that we are one with it and as it. Our past is our past. We have one. We have these wonderful, wonderful memories. We have these unhappy memories. What we have is the experience of being in the presence and the allness of God. Recognizing that we are complete beings. There's nothing to alter. There's only the acceptance of who we are built upon what we were, what we are now, and what we will be. We must be the joy, the life, the harmony, the prosperity, the peace, and the unifying forces of this world for ourselves and beyond ourselves, for the entire world, for every person, for every thought. We are responsible. Yes, we are responsible for who we are, and what we are affects the universal allness of this planet. Pray without ceasing. Be open to newness. The 91st Psalm was given to us. Many, many, many more prayers, many, many, many more answered prayers have been. Many, many more prayers are yet in our hearts. The answers are in God. God's time is our time. Be ready, be open, be accepting, and then give it all away. Give it all away. I know this is our truth. I bless each one of us who are here by sight, by sound, through the ethers. I bless you. We send each other wealth, health, and peace, and harmony, and joy, all the goodness of God. I give thanks for all who are with us here today. You know, there's many chairs, and within each chair, there is an essence and a spirit and a consciousness, for you are here. Knowing this, I give thanks. I release these words, these thoughts, this energy into the heart and the law of God. It is today, it is a blessing, and we accept it all. And together we say, and so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. So Gilbert will have a musical selection for us again. And it feels good this morning to just be here. And after our selection, we will bless our tithes and offerings. Jerry will do that and give the benediction.
This song that says, "We are all shining stars."
Gilbert says, this song says we are all shining stars.
Thanks again, Gilbert. And now if you would hold your tithes and offerings in your hand, and you can do this at home too. As you get ready to put our address on the envelopes, 2653 South Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm Jerry Lawson, a spiritual mind practitioner at Miracle Center. We bless your gifts of God, expressing as financial supply. Miracle Center prides itself on paying our financial responsibilities as required and on time. We thank you for using PayPal or credit cards on our website. And you just click on the donate button, or you could just mail it in like you mail out the rest of your bills or responsibilities. And we just give heartfelt thanks for you. Our website is MCSLCleveland.org. I just give thanks for the time that we've had. This wonderful reminder of the 91st Psalms, the Psalm of protection. And just know that we are protected as those that fall to the right of us and those that fall to the left of us. We are protected. I give thanks for this time that we've had today. Thanks for the wonderful message brought by Reverend June. And we just know that we have been blessed and blessed over and over again by Reverend June, by all of the speakers, the ones that have brought us the 91st Psalms, the ones that have turned on the mute and unmute buttons. Everyone else that has had anything else to do with this service today is blessed. And I just release this treatment in the ethers, knowing that all is well. And if you agree with me, just say, and so it is. Amen. And that concludes our service for this Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Leave the meeting. Leave the meeting. Close the meeting. Shut it down.